Celebrating 25 years of media excellence. Welcome to Newsdesk with me, Ernest Minu. Coming up in the next 60 minutes, 15 more workers of AFCON's Infrastructure Limited in the Lower Manyakrobo municipality test positive for coronavirus. Also, President Akufo-Addo announces 3 months of free electricity supply for consumers of a particular category while extending Greater Accra and Kumasi lockdown by a week.
We expect to be able to test some 10,000 additional samples in the coming week to give us a clearer picture to enable us to take a decision on the way forward.
We'll bring you more on that. And in business, Cocoa Board forms Risk Assessment Committee as coronavirus pandemic disrupts global prices. We'll bring you details.
Being guided by the recommendations of this committee to ensure that our farmers are paid and their cocoa is bought by the LBCs.
We have details of all these and more. Please stay with us. Hello again, my name is Ernest Minu. Thank you very much for joining us. In our first story, President Akufo-Addo has extended the restrictions on movement in Accra and Kumasi by 1 more week from Monday, April 13, 2020, delivering his 6th address on the progress of the national campaign to defeat the coronavirus pandemic in Ghana. The president said on Thursday that although the efforts have been successful, the country was not yet out of the woods. 2 weeks ago, a 14-day restriction on movement in parts of Greater Accra region and Kumasi in the Ashanti region was implemented to control the spread of the coronavirus. The lockdown has been implemented in parts of the country where significant numbers of virus infections have been recorded.
It is important that we stay the course and bear with the difficulties that come with it. The final result, hopefully, will be freedom from the virus. So the decision has been taken through the issuance of another executive instrument to extend the restriction on movements in the Greater Accra metropolitan area and Kaswa and the Greater Kumasi metropolitan area and its contiguous districts by 1 more week, beginning 1 a.m. on Monday, the 13th of April, subject to review.
Now, the president also announced 3 months of free electricity for consumers of a particular category, now to make up for the lost income following the lockdown in Accra and Kumasi. President Akufo-Addo says the decision is part of additional measures being taken by government to mitigate the impact of the outbreak of the virus, which is having a toll on the public.
Government will fully absorb electricity bills for the poorest of the poor, i.e., for all lifeline consumers. That is free electricity for persons who consume 0 to 50 kilowatt hours a month for this period. In addition, for all other consumers, residential and commercial, government will absorb 50% of your electricity bill for this period, using your March 2020 bill as your benchmark. For example, if your electricity bill was 100 cedis, you will pay only 50 cedis, with government absorbing the remaining 50 cedis. This is being done to support industry, enterprises, and the service sector in these difficult times, and to provide some relief to households for lost income. Nevertheless, I urge all Ghanaians to exercise discipline in their use of water and electricity. The food items being distributed in Accra and Kumasi to the vulnerable and needy are being done through NADMO and the Metropolitan, Municipal, and District Chief Executives, with the assistance of the faith-based organizations, to whom I'm rendering a special word of gratitude. I appeal to you, let us in the meantime continue to comply with the measures. Let us maintain good hygiene and respect the social distancing protocols, even when you're going out to receive the food. But above all, please stay at home. 105 of the confirmed cases came from those who were mandatorily quarantined and tested on their arrival in our country on 21st and 22nd March. 192 of the cases came from travelers who entered the country before the closure and their contacts. 79% of the 378 confirmed cases are thus imported. We now have in total 378 confirmed cases of infections, with 6 deaths, 4 recoveries, 2 in critical condition, and the remaining 370 are mild cases who are in isolation and either being managed at home or at treatment centers. Fellow Ghanaians, I've come to ask for your continued patience as we continue to implement and extend the efforts that have so far proven to be helpful.
Now, 15 more persons at the AFCON construction quarters in Bong have tested positive for COVID-19, bringing the total number of confirmed cases in the eastern region to 16 as at 1 a.m. today. Deputy Director of Ghana Health Service in the eastern region, Dr. Antobre Boatin, in an interview with my colleague Maxo Kudeko, said all the confirmed cases are under police surveillance and are responding to treatment. He said most of the confirmed cases are foreign nationals. Well, being joined on the phone now by the Eastern Regional Minister Kwache Dafo for more on this. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on News Desk. Sir, if you can hear me, you're live on JoyNews.
Why?
Mr. Dafo, you're live on JoyNews. Thank you very much for your time.
Hello.
Well, we seem not to have the attention of the minister. Hello, Mr. Dafo. Thank you very much for your time here on News Desk.
Yes.
Yes. Now, can you clarify the number of infected cases in the region for us? Yes, Mr. Dafo, thank you very much for joining us here on News Desk on the JoyNews channel. Now, we understand that a lot more cases have been recorded in the eastern region following the contact tracing that was done after the initial case was detected. Can you clarify as to the figures? How many more have been added?
Thank you very much. I'm driving. I'm in my constituency doing education on the COVID. But I can confirm that the analysis we have received so far, being confirmed cases from Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research and authenticated by my Director of Health Services in the region, Dr. Mrs. Brichum. Yesterday we had 15 cases confirmed, bringing the total in the Eastern region to 16. So I can confirm this figure for you.
Okay, so the total now is 16. That includes the initial case.
1 6.
Okay. Do you have a breakdown of these extra 15 people who have tested positive?
What do you mean?
Do you have a breakdown of these extra 15 people?
They are all Indians, foreigners.
All of them are foreigners?
Yes, they are Indians.
Okay. But have we finished with the test, with it contact tracing so far? Have we tested
we haven't.
everybody? Okay.
You know, we sent a total of about, I think, 250 or so. And we just received half of it. And the half, we have the 15 proven positive. So when we are able to finish with the contact tracing, and mind you, there are 202 Indians in the camp. There are 2 camps for the contractor, the Accra Limited. They are the company building the Tema to Pakadan railway line. You see, and they have 2 camps, one at Apenya, one at Pong. And it is the Pong camp where we have had the 16 confirmed cases. But they also work with Ghanaians who live outside of the camp. But having interacted with them we believe we should continue with the contact tracing to be sure that all of the workers have been traced and tested together with their families, their friends, you know, the enlarged contact. So we are on it, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. But how many people, I mean, where and how are you managing these extra 15 cases?
Those of them, it is easier now for us because all of them live in the camp. Okay. And the camp is being guarded by the security personnel. They don't allow them to go out at all. They are in the hands of the Public Health Emergency Committee of the Eastern Region, headed by myself and assisted by the Director of Health Services. So
all 16 people are being quarantined in the camp?
Yes, they are in the camp. But we are waiting for the other result.
Very well. There were reports of a lockdown in the Yellow Krobo area beginning today.
No. I don't think there's no lockdown. But you see, everybody is a bit on the alert and they are panicking a bit, and that has actually restricted movement a bit. It is not in the Yellow Krobo municipality. It is within the Lower Manya municipality. Bong is the Lower Manya municipality.
Okay, but considering
it's contiguous, there is like one big community.
Very well. Considering how
to Lower Manya to even to Damai, Akosombo, it's like one big town.
Yes, so considering that the cases are, you know, on the rise, would you, for instance, recommend as Regional Minister and Head of Security for the region that the President considers a lockdown, whether partial or full?
Maybe I will suggest that we all hold our horses and wait a bit. Today and tomorrow we will know how the trend is, and then we have decided to do a press conference or give a press statement on Tuesday morning.
Mr. Dafo, thank you very much for your time here on News
My
Desk.
pleasure, sir.
And you had the Eastern Regional Minister, Kwache Dafo, giving us an update on the situation in the Eastern region. As we speak now, the total number of people infected with the virus, 16. And let me bring you some updates on the cases so far. New suspected cases as of today, that's the 9th, as of 9th yesterday, April, we have 15 new confirmed, of course that is 15 as well. There are no deaths in the region. Cumulative cases suspected 73, and you heard him talk about the testing that was done. Cumulative cases confirmed 16. Total number of confirmed cases on admission 0. Total number of confirmed cases in self-isolation treatment 16, and you heard there about they being kept in the camp. And we have the total number of contacts listed, 257. Contacts followed up today, 252. Some 5 more to go. We also have the total number of returnees tested with results received, that's 29. And before that, you have the total number of returnees tested, 58. And the current admission of health workers 0, cumulative cases of health workers 0 as well, and the specimen collected today 15, and that of course resulted in the positive cases. Then you have the cumulative cases with laboratory confirmation 16, and of course the number of deaths among confirmed cases remain 0. You're watching News Desk with me, Anna Smith. We're taking a quick break. When we return, we'll bring you more stories on coronavirus. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us here on News Desk. Now, the Yellow Krobo Municipal Assembly in the Eastern region says it is not going into a lockdown as reported in sections of the media. Simon Teta joins us on the phone. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Can you clarify if your area is going into a lockdown? We heard from the regional minister, but the report attributed to you. What is the clarification on that?
Thank you very much. My municipality is Lower Manya Municipal.
Yes, the Lower Manya.
My name is Simon Kwakutete. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I didn't come to the interview to Adum FM yesterday, so I don't know where they got that information from. and also lockdowns are declared by the president. So it is not coming from a municipality, it's not coming from me. So the news is false.
Very well. Thank you very much for the clarification. But as far as COVID-19 is concerned, what is the situation like in your municipality?
We are still on doing the sensitization or education and sharing vermiculite buckets and tissue and liquid soap, hand sanitizers to the people and preaching the social distancing. And the task force is also going around to ensure that the people comply with the directives of the president. So we are doing everything possible to curtail the situation.
There was mass movement of people following the initial announcement of a lockdown in Accra and Kumasi. Many moved into your region and in your area. What are you doing to control the numbers?
What we've done is that the surveillance team, we in collaboration with assembly members and the unit committee members, identify some of them, and they've gone into self-quarantine, taking their temperatures on daily basis and taking some samples for testing. So that is what we are doing for now. But for now, because there's a lockdown, a partial lockdown in Tema and Accra, there are no more coming.
Very well.
And there are barriers away. So the police are checking thoroughly when people are coming.
Thank you very much, sir. That's the MC for Lower Manya area speaking to us here on Newsdesk. Let's move on to some other stories now. And staff of St. Augustine's College are staging a protest over the choice of their school as an isolation center. According to the teachers, they cannot live on the campus with people suspected to have COVID-19. Residents of Ifutu, on the other hand, also staged a protest and blocked the road to the Ifutu Senior High School because the school was chosen as an isolation center. Richard Kojunako has more in the following report.
Earlier this week, the Central Regional Minister Kwame Nadankan met the Regional Health Response Team to prepare should a case be recorded in the region. The minister tasked each district to designate a school to manage suspected cases. On Wednesday, the region announced its first case. On Wednesday, the Central Region recorded its first case of COVID-19. Following that, there were suggestions that a school should be designated to serve as an isolation center. And so St. Augustine's was chosen as one of the isolation centers. The headmaster briefed the teachers that are around. And then the teachers say that cannot happen because this very facility houses about 60 families. And they cannot live with people that would be isolated and possibly tested for the COVID-19 or the coronavirus disease.
Everybody, social center, everybody knows, they know who and who are staying here. So in fact, the kind of labeling that goes with the disease is going to be tagged to all of us. That is my first worry. My number two worry is the fact that St. Augustine's College, I think those who start to plan to select St. Augustine's College define a school as currently as a situation where school has gone down and there's nobody here. This is a home of about 60 plus families, 60 teachers, non-teaching, plus their wife, plus their spouses, if I should put it that way, multiplied by their kids. You are bringing somebody from his or her home to join us here. What is the reason? Probably you want to take the people from their homes so that they will not infect others. Now you are bringing them to a home where 300 plus people are residing. I think with that one, I beg to differ. With this one, we are pleading with the government. Even if there was a way out, I thought that they shouldn't have labeled St. Augustine's College, for everybody to know. But as it is now, people even passing by, if you go to town, people will label us as having it. And it comes with a lot of trauma. Apart from that, the dormitory that has been chosen, just behind it, we have bungalows there. The distance is not even up to 25 meters. I would say less than 25 meters. I'm not very sure, but per my check, it will not go beyond 25 meters. Sure, and it houses 3 families.
These are residents of Ifutu. They number about 200. They have stood still under the scorching sun for close to 6 hours, protesting the selection of the Futu Senior High School as an isolation center. A team of police personnel was dispatched to the scene to calm the situation, but the residents say until the decision to use the school as an isolation center is reversed, they will never relent. Irene Opon speaks for the Regional Police Command.
And currently, both members of the town and properties are safe. Currently, police commanders are in the palace of Ifutu and they are having meetings with opinion leaders so that we can come to a lawful conclusion.
For Joy News, my name is Richard Kwejenyako from Cape Coast.
Botswana's Honorary Consul Thomas Oche has called on the police to strictly enforce lockdown directives outlined by government. His call follows recent reportage on people blatantly flouting the lockdown restrictions. He spoke to JoyNews when Honorary Consuls in Ghana presented some PPEs to the Ghana Police Service to fight COVID-19.
We presented hand sanitizers, we presented soap, we presented handgun, the thermometer gun, and tissues, Veronica buckets, and the rest. The reason basically is government has done so much to help curb this menace. The fact is that we also don't want to sit down and leave government alone to fight this battle. So we thought it wise to contribute and to support the Ghana Army and also the police force. Ghanaians are developing, I see, used to all Accra. People are getting used to easily swaying the police and bypassing police. So I see that the number of vehicles and people coming out of their homes is increasing. I would indulge Ghanaians not to try to outwit the police when they ask them to go back home, to stay home, and not to take the merciful heart of the policeman to just tell any words so that you could be on the streets. So I would beckon the police even to be more harder and stricter, to adhere to the rules of not allowing people to roam about unnecessarily.
Now, the CMB market has been shut down indefinitely by the Korle-Klottey Municipal Assembly. The move is to prevent crowding in the market space after traders disregarded protocols introduced by government to reduce the spread of COVID-19. Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson was there and now reports.
The CMB market, located near the NIB Bank, is home to hundreds of traders. 12 days after the announcement of a lockdown by President Akufo-Addo, traders are still not complying with social distancing protocols. They were seen selling closely to one another. However, some who spoke to JoyNews insisted they were adhering to the rules.
CMB, we do understand that we say we should separate ourselves so that there will be more air. So we are doing it. And I'm covering my mouth too because you are interviewing me. That's why I removed them.
When people come, when we are telling them separate social distance, then they start sorting as people didn't know about it. But me, I know it. So when two people crash on my fish, I tell them, wait, when one finish, then you come back.
Not long after my interaction with them, Korle-Klottey MC Ini Ejay Terrier turned up to announce the closure of the market. The decision follows several failed attempts to get the market women to comply with health directives.
This afternoon, we have engaged the leadership again. We've been here, and then we have decided to close this market until further notice. Over that period, what will happen is we will engage the leadership again, but this time around, we are going to do the groupings as to who comes to work here on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday. And also when they come here, because there will not be many, we will be able to have the social distancing compliance that we want.
But the traders pleaded with the assembly to give them some grace period to sell their goods until Monday.
It will affect me a lot when they close down because I don't have any business at home. Every day when I didn't come to my day, I can't take care of my children. So when they shut down throughout, it will affect me.
We are pleading with the authorities to give us some grace period so that we can sell our wares. I have already taken consignment of some tomatoes. They shouldn't close the markets now. Otherwise, all of them will rot.
However, their plea was not taken. The Assembly insists it will go ahead with the closure while it works on rolling out some measures to control the crowd it anticipates may return with the opening of the market. For JoyNews, Mamesi Nyamiche Thompson, CMB, Accra.
You're watching News Desk with me, Ernest. We're taking a short break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now, Multipack Limited, the producers of 5-Star Energy Drink and Perla Water, have presented bottles of water, sanitizers and hand soap worth 30,000 Ghana cedis to the Ministry of Interior. Head of Sales at Multipack Limited, Rabia Boji, said the gesture is to boost the ministry's morale in their work and fight against COVID-19 pandemic.
As we continue our support to all the sites, today we had ministry to donate the personal protective equipment to ensure the safety and the protection to the ministry, and then to striving the limit of the spread of COVID-19. We will continue more and more. We have more sites and also more communities we are going to visit and then support to kick out the disease. It's around 30,000 Ghana cedi between water and then gloves, mask, and then the hand sanitizer and the hand soap. Multipack is a producer of 5-Star Energy Drink, as I said, and Perla mineral water, and then juices, all kind of soft drink and beverage, malt, juices, a lot is coming also. We are since 2006 in this country, and also we will look forward. We have many things coming forward by God will, and after this this disease will end, we have new things to the market and then to the country. Stay home, stay safe, please. Assist with the government. It's very important to assist to help our homeland.
Chief Director of the Ministry of Interior, Adelaide Anokumi, who received the items, said the ministry is working hard to fight the pandemic.
We are grateful to Multipack for this gesture. You know, I mean, once we are in this fight, COVID-19 together, we warmly accept such gestures as a corporate social responsibility of companies that want to help Mother Ghana. This ministry, we have asked our staff, we've reduced the number of services. In fact, we've even cut down on the services that we provide to the general public. So we have a lean staff showing up every day so that at least we have this social distancing philosophy promoted. We also have our Veronica buckets and our table set up here to ensure that anybody who enters the premises washes his or her hands. We also have sanitizers. My minister is very religious when it comes to this. You must see him whenever he enters the compounds and he leaves the compound, how he religiously goes to the Veronica bucket area to wash his hands. So this shows to a very large extent the good leadership and as well as the discipline inculcated in us to ensure that we fight this pandemic together. By and large, we are on the ground working as well as our agencies.
The Ghana Immigration Service says it has identified nearly 30,000 travelers who arrived in the country through the Kotoka International Airport who would have to be tracked and tested for COVID-19. The figure represents travelers who arrived in the country between March 3 and 20, shortly before the closure of the country's borders. President Akufo-Addo on March 21 had directed that all travelers who arrived within the period be traced as part of an aggressive attempt to stop the spread of the pandemic. The Ghana Immigration Service says 28,000 of the 34,000 have been processed to make the data user-friendly for contact tracers. Max Sol Adbadba had exclusive access to how the process is going and has come through with this report.
in normal times, you'd find people milling around the luggage carousel and the conveyor belt here. But that is not the case today, as this airport is empty with no activity. This is a reflection of what is happening in many parts of the world. Well, we've been speaking to the man in charge of the information system here at the Kotoka International Airport. He's been telling us about how they are generating data to help the contact tracing team.
You search through for the card that the traveler completed when he arrived on the day in question. Yes, and from there you are able to extract the address that was stated on the card and then the telephone number that was given as well.
Okay. So
yeah, we compile for the entire flight for that day and then we send it to the headquarters for onward development of the list. Yes.
I'm here at the headquarters of the Ghana Immigration Service. The contact tracers, they are working from one of the rooms here, and these are contact tracing developers. What they do here in this room is to work on the data of persons who came into the country from March 3 to March 23. That was the period before Ghana's borders were shut. So what they are doing is to work on the data of about over 30,000 people, and they're making the data user-friendly here in this room. I've been speaking to the Chief Superintendent, Lydia Archer, who's the leader of the team here. And she tells me that so far they've worked on about 28,000 persons. And this is what we have here. This is just part of what they've worked on, so far.
And we are looking at about 400 plus flights that came within that period. And then about 34,000 plus passengers. Yes, and then so far we've been able to clean and disseminate about 28,500, and work is ongoing.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the COVID-19 operations room here at the Ghana Immigration Service. This is where all the coordination, takes place. You remember the Ghana Immigration Service put out a notice out there that if you have any family member, any friend, or any tenant who came in within the period that was announced, you should call. Well, if you call, this is where your call will normally come to, and persons here will respond, to it. I've been speaking to the coordinator of this operations room, and he's been telling me about what they've been doing here at this place.
We monitor the border patrol activities. You know that the borders are locked down, and what we have to do is to patrol 24/7 across the borders.
I've also been speaking to the Greater Accra Regional Commander of the Ghana Immigration Service, who is also in charge of the contact tracing operations here at the Immigration Headquarters, Samuel Amadou Basentele. He says that so far, so good with the contact tracing, but there's still more work to be done.
Oh, well, so far, so good. And there's still a lot of work to do because Accra is a big region. And we have over 30-something thousand passengers to trace who entered the country between the 3rd of March until the lockdown. So that is a huge responsibility, but we are doing our best.
This is what a typical contact tracing process looks like. Here in this community at Ashoman, we're told that there was a positive COVID-19 case some days ago. Health personnel and the Ghana immigration officers here are helping, taking samples for them to be tested at the Noguchi Memorial Institute.
Currently, we are working hand in hand with the Ghana Health Service, tracing contacts of people suspected to have come in touch with a confirmed case in the area. So we are working hand in hand with the Ghana Health Service. In as much as we are part of the contact tracing team, we also provide security in the sense that some areas, they don't try to welcome us, they don't try to understand the situation. So in a case where we think that it may be rowdy, then we quickly call in the rapid response team.
It's time now for business here on News Desk. Darryl Call is standing by.
Good morning, welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The agency in charge of the sale of the country's cocoa on the international market, Cocoa Board, has formed a risk assessment committee. This committee is expected to study price trends, amongst others, as the coronavirus pandemic affects commodity prices on the global market. Chief Executive of Cocoa Board, Joseph Bwahi Edu, who spoke to Joy Business, said the committee is to lead reforms on best strategies for Cocoa Board in these times.
Ghana Cocoa Board is still working. We are working around the clock to ensure that the services that ought to go to our cocoa farmers are delivered. And we are doing so with all our allied agencies. All the LBCs are working. All the hauliers are working. As we speak now, fertilizer is being, hauled from our warehouses and then from the various formulating manufacturing companies to the farmers. Fertilizer is being given to the farmers. Pruning is going on, and this is a time when we do pruning because we have a very short window, a very short space from now up to the end of April to finish with pruning, because immediately after that, when we enter May, the flowers are going to come. And so pruning is ongoing throughout the entire cocoa region. And therefore, nothing is halting our operations. And let me also assure our farmers that purchasing of cocoa, is also not stopped. And let me emphasize, purchasing of cocoa is not stopped. LBCs are going to continue to buy the cocoa, and Ghana Cocoa Board is going to pay them. And we are making all efforts to get the money to pay our farmers. We've already set up a committee to look at the risk. They are doing what we call risk assessment of the whole situation. And we are being guided by the recommendations of this committee to ensure that our farmers are paid and their cocoa is bought by the LBCs.
Now, Chief Executive Officer of Food Processing Company Caden Limited, Eric Dankwakisi, has disclosed that the company is given a 30% discount on prices of food products purchased by government and institutions that are offering relief services for the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Individual consumers, on the other hand, will receive 15% reduction. Mr. Dankwakisi made the disclosure at Tumu when he donated 100 bags of assorted maize-based food products valued at 15,000 Ghana cedis to government. JoyNews Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Tumu.
According to the Chief Executive Officer of Caden Limited, Eric Dankwakisi, the 100 bags of assorted maize-based food products donation is the company's contribution to the government in its fight against the COVID-19 pandemic.
Government at least should take this and also see how at least other vulnerables and other people will be able to benefit from it. When you look at the COVID-19 protocols, we are encouraged to actually observe hygiene. And for that matter, if we are looking at hygiene from the perspective of us washing our hands alone, maybe we also have to further look at hygiene from the perspective of where the food that we eat in these critical and threatening times come from. And for that matter, with the sort of standard operations that we have, we believe that our food is wholesome, it's healthy, it meets all the standards because we supply multinationals who have world-class.
In addition, the company is also announcing reliefs in respect of price of its food products for the various consumer categories. This is to support institutional efforts at managing the effect of COVID-19 on the economic livelihoods of the people, especially frontline staff and vulnerable groups.
We are ready to reduce our prices by 30% to the government and other entities that are fronting the relief work during this period. And also, we are not leaving out the individuals. Any individual that may be want to buy a bag from us in these trying times, we have reduced our price by 15% for them. People may ask why individual 15% and why government that has a muzzle 30%. The reason just being that government, for instance, can decide that fine, Kidan suppliers, produce and suppliers 10,000 bags. So it makes business sense to at least give that rebate.
Sisala East Municipal Chief Executive Karimo Nanyo, who received the items valued at 15,000 Ghana cedis, was very grateful to Kidan Limited for a kind gesture.
Kidan to do this on behalf of the organization, I think it's very good and laudable. So what I will do is that I will accept the donation on behalf of the government, and I want to give the assurance that this gesture will be forwarded to whoever is supposed to get to. And then also the additional information, the 30% reduction and then the 15% to individuals, I think will also be part of the information we all have to package well for our people.
Kidan Limited is a large-scale maize processing company located at Tumu in the Sisala East municipality. The company has been operational for 10 years, initiating its business as a maize production, farming and trading company. The food processing company was established in 2018 to process raw maize into flour for the preparation of household meals like tozafe, banku, apple, and porridge. They also process the raw maize into broken maize for industrial use. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam, Tumu.
And that's business for now. The news continues after this break.
Authorities at Konfanochi Teaching Hospital are appealing for public support to upgrade the hospital's intensive care units for COVID-19 management. Chief Executive Dr. Honorary Sudanso says the facility is currently overstretched due to its location as the only facility serving the middle and northern belts. He spoke after receiving a check for 200,000 Ghana cedis and 20 infrared thermometer guns from the Forestry Commission in Kumasi. Ohimenteria Hasmo.
Konfanochi Hospital is one of the case management centers for COVID-19 in the Ashanti region. Though it has space for 25 beds, only 2 intensive care ones are available. This seriously limits the number of critically ill patients in need of ventilator and other life support equipment who can be accommodated. Dr. Osudanso admits the gap in intensive care equipment, which he says has been brought to the Health Ministry's attention.
Our major focus is to do with those who will come in severely and critically ill, for whom we will need to sometimes assist them in their breathing as far as their respiratory effort is concerned. And we identify that that is the area that we must seriously look at in our investment drive. All the cases or the patients who will test positive, we've set up a 25-bed highly infectious isolation unit, which is down there at the polyclinic. And as I speak, for this, we have been able to establish 2 beds as fully for intensive care assistance. And so therefore we can see the gap that we have. And that is why this donation coming from the Forestry Commission is very timely. Management and the board has committed to use all this, and especially also with the assistance from central government to the ministry. Our list has been submitted, and we are aware, we have been informed that the ministry is also working assiduously to assist, especially in the areas of equipment deficit, just so that we'll be able to upgrade our intensive care positions in the hospital to a very higher level.
According to Dr. Osudanso, Konfanochi Hospital's proximity comes with a lot of pressure on the facility.
For the strategic location of Konfanochi, currently we have other patients who don't have COVID-19 infection, but who are also here being cared for at our intensive care sites. So therefore, you can see the pressure on our intensive care services because of our central location, caring for the central belt and the northern belt of the country. I must say that even for our basic personal protective materials, for instance, our glove utilization has tripled in the event of the corona pandemic. Sanitizers, we used to use 400 or 500 ml bottle weekly. Now we are doing about 3,000 to 3,200 weekly. And so therefore, I think I want to thank most sincerely the Forestry Commission for their benevolence, for extending this gesture to us. And I assure them, on behalf of the board and management, that we are going to put this into a very judicious use. And I call on other corporate bodies to emulate the example.
Deputy Chief Executive of Forestry Commission, John Aluti, hopes the donation will impact positively on healthcare delivery.
This is not the only place. I must say that we've already donated items to Legon Hospital and the Achimota Hospital, as well as the Achimota Police Station. This donation, especially the infrared thermometers, they are items that you don't find easily around this area. So we thought it wise we could get them the thermometers, which means that they could be able to test the temperatures of people who are coming into this facility. The funds are supposed to help them to purchase items that will help them to manage the coronavirus pandemic.
Meanwhile, Sunda Company Ghana has presented several packs of detergents and soap to the hospital. From Kumasi, for JoyNews, Oiminteria reporting.
We have been admonished time and again to avoid touching our faces so we don't infect ourselves with viruses we pick on surfaces. But every time you tell yourself to stop touching your face, you're trying to do something that's entirely unnatural to you. So how do we stop? Watch this.
Don't touch your face.
Contagious. And I haven't touched my face in weeks.
Because we can't help it. It's part of our DNA. We're hardwired to do it. We know this because humans as young as fetuses in utero touch their faces. So every time you tell yourself, stop touching your face, don't touch your face, if I touch my face, I'm going to get really ill, you're telling yourself to do something that is entirely unnatural to you. When we touch our faces, what we're really doing is calming ourselves down. When we touch certain areas of our faces, what we're really doing is we're activating certain pressure points, which then activates something called the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the thing that makes us calm ourselves down internally. We see the same response in dogs and cats. Children often model the same behavior as their parents. So if our parents, when they're shocked, they touch their faces, or when they're surprised, they touch their faces, or if they're upset, they touch their faces, we're much more likely to do exactly the same thing. The irony is, at a time when it's more important than ever to not touch your face, unconsciously, your mind is constantly moving to a place where it can better protect you. By doing the things that it knows will soothe you, and so your unconscious mind will prompt your hands to go straight to your face. Whilst it's almost impossible to totally stop touching your face, a key way that you can go about making it easier would be to take out the habits which lead you to do it. So that might mean wearing glasses instead of contact lenses. It might mean wearing less makeup so you don't have to top it up throughout the day. It might also mean creating habits around how you use your hands. So rather than perhaps when you're always moving around and having your hands like this and making it so easy for them to land on your face, making an effort to cross your hands and put them on your lap. Then when the urge comes to pick your hands up and touch your face, you'll be more aware of what you're doing and you'll be quicker to catch yourself. I cleaned my hands before I touched my face.
So don't touch your face. That's it for Newsdays. Many thanks for your company. Please log on to myjournline.com. I'm Anesmino. JoyNews Interactive is next with Najeli. Stay tuned in.
And welcome back from the break. This is Joy News Interactive with me, Na Ajele Doku. And we're going to do some tech talk, and I have my colleague Kobe Spiking Nkrumah on the line. Hello, Kobe. Oh, I think I lost him. Hello, Spiky. We're going to try and reconnect with him, but today we're going to be looking at Skype and some of the updates they've done to keep us working, those of us working at home, to aid us. Now I heard they moved video calls to about 50 participants, and Kobe's going to give us more. Yesterday we talked about Zoom and WhatsApp's limitation. Hello, Spiky. Good morning.
Hi, Na. Good morning.
How are you?
Very well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How is working from home?
Yeah. Today my power is out. As you can see, that's how come we're talking on the phone.
Oh, don't worry. It will come back. It will be restored very soon. But now let's talk about Skype. Yesterday we started a bit, and then we talked about Skype as a good platform for working from home. And today we're looking at some increase in the video calls. Can we talk about that?
So Skype is now allowing about 50 participants per video call. But it limits the screen to show only the speaker after more than half a dozen people join in. So if you have about 6 people join in, it limits only the video to just the person who's speaking. So maybe I've noticed that schools are using it for teaching because the teacher is the only one that basically needs seen. All the other students don't need seen. So the participants are shown in bubbles across the top of the screen, and you can choose whose feed you want to focus on.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And as that would happen, it seems that with this new feature, you can not just, for groups less than 25 participants, you can actually call the entire group at once. So you can create a group, and you can call all of them at once. So let's say we're in a class of less than 25 people. A teacher can create a group, and he can call all of us at once. So you don't have to call call another person, call Kofi Kwame, Kwesi, one after the other. You can call all of them at once.
Wow, that's a good feature. So that makes working from home, especially with people that have to do conferencing and presentations, it makes it very easy now, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay. I know people have been home for more than 2 weeks now, and as an extension on the lockdown. Now, what are some of the tips that you can give, because you're working also from home? What are some of the things that you do to make it a little easier for you? Some people are getting a bit weary and tired. Give us a few tips, especially when it comes to technology.
Okay, so those who have smart watches, they probably all know how this works. You get an alert if you've been sitting down for too long. So you get up, and then it gives you some stretches. You're asked to do some stretches so that you can maintain your activity tracking, so you don't sit down for too long, because sitting down for too long is actually bad for your health.
Yeah. So if you don't have a smartwatch, what can you do?
So you can set reminders on your phone or on your computer. So let's say after every 2 hours, your phone or your computer should remind you to stretch or get up and take a short walk. Sometimes you can just walk around your room or do some stretches.
Okay.
And I think I found some stretches that you can do if you've been sitting for a while. And I'll share with you so you can share it on our social media handles.
That'll be beautiful. That'll be beautiful. But what else can you also do to keep you going?
Well, as it stands right now, for someone, you're working from home, you have the ability to sign up for maybe music, you're listening to new music, or you can watch. I don't want to say anything that's going to be fun, because people may be swayed off from working and then just go to just having fun. But you can create your own workspace. I realize that for people who are not used to working from home, the distractions are a lot.
Yes.
You can actually you can create a workspace for work. So when you're in that workspace, nothing comes to interfere with what you're doing. So for instance, in my case, I've created a new user on my computer, which doesn't have notifications like personal notifications. It's only work-related notifications. So when I get an email, I know it's definitely work-related. When I get any notification, it's work-related. So after 5, then I switch to my personal account, where then I can get my social media notifications and everything to avoid distraction.
Okay. So thank you so much, Spiky. Hope to see you soon, and enjoy yourself. Well, that's all we have for today on Joy News Interactive. For more information, just log on to myjoyonline.com, and like Spiky said, I'll share some of the videos, the stretches and stuff that you can do as you're working from home. Now remember to keep on with the social distancing. If you're at work, just like the way we are, keep washing your hands under running water with soap, and then keep sanitizing your hands. And please stay at home if you have nothing doing in town. Happy Easter. Remember, the reason for this season is Jesus. Let's keep that in mind. Let's keep praying for us. My name is Najile Doku. I'll be back, but I'm leaving you with this video. I'll be back on Monday with more information on Joy News Interactive. Keep enjoying our shows right here on Joy News.